Okay. It's a nice person. So thank you everybody, and thank you for the introduction, Steve. My name is Tyrone Odiowei, and I'm going to do a presentation now on systems and team building. So a little bit about myself, how I got started. And I'm going to go through this pretty quick. It's a 1-hour presentation. I'm putting it to 10 minutes. So I originally was studying to become a doctor, but I decided to go on a different path, just because I just really did not like the medical industry. So I ended up working for a company, and it was a pretty bad company, to be honest, like the workplace from hell. So yeah, what ended up happening was, after quite a short period of time, I ended up getting fired from this job. And that's Vince McMahon to illustrate that for you. Fired. Yeah. So what ended up happening was, I ended up taking the company to court, and I ended up suing them because I wasn't fired for a just reason. It was basically, the workplace was a pretty toxic environment. I spoke up about it, and they basically fired me. So I took on the case myself. I won. I didn't have any lawyer, and I actually used the money to get started into e-commerce. That's how I got into the business. So there was a light at the end of the tunnel from that. So things started to go really well for me after a short period of time, until one day, I think it was around last year, my business pretty much quadrupled after our closest competitor got disabled. This was great for finances, but it also put a huge burden on me because I didn't have any systems in place, and I didn't really have a team. So it really led me on a path of discovery to really try to find out the best way to build teams, best way to systemize things. So I was quite fortunate enough to get a chance to speak to Sir Alan Sugar in person, and I got a chance to ask him some questions about systems and team building, and I'm just going to play a short clip about his response now.
To go next
Has been documenting their systems. How did you document your systems scale to 9 figures and beyond?
Well, I think that it's all very well talking about documenting systems and processes. You can write, with the greatest respect, you can write a system and process, but at the end of the day, you can't write a system and process that tells somebody how to be a natural salesperson. Here's the process. We make goods, we buy components, we put them on a production line, we test them, we make sure they're okay, we advertise them on TV, now we try to sell them to Dixons and Currys, okay? That's the process. But the end bit is the killer. That's the one that no process, no piece of paper, no reading a book on how to do it is going to solve it. Someone's got to have that skill to be able to sell and project the product to the end customer. But process in manufacturing is obviously something very, very important, particularly with the added obstacles that have come in the past 30 years of health and safety and all those kind of regulations, and CE regulations as far as the equipment is concerned. So the process has evolved mainly due to bureaucracy, I've found anyway. The factory's got to be laid out correctly. The product itself has got to be compliant in certain respects to pollution, recyclable, and all that type of thing. So yeah, you can see it. I've got quite a few jobs where that's all they do all day long, is write out processes of what the rest of the staff have to stick to, and they're not very popular people, actually.
So then it's more about finding somebody with the proper skill set and then just delegating that task.
Yeah, they're a special beast, those people, yeah, that enjoy doing that. And I think that this environment that we live in now there's certainly a growing field for them, yeah, for process management, yeah.
So after speaking to Lord Sugar, the biggest takeaway I got from that was, the systems are definitely important, but you really have to marry that with somebody with the right skill set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 parts to this. I'm going to show you basically how we've built our team and the best practices we found in building a virtual team. I'm going to go through a little bit on how we actually document our systems and processes. So a lot of people talk about virtual workers, VAs. A lot of people say, you know, you can't build a real company with a lot of VAs, relying mainly on VAs. A lot of people prefer to focus on having in-house employees, but we have found the opposite to be true. And that is simply because if you train people effectively and you get people with the right skill sets, it doesn't really matter if the person is in, you know, the Philippines or in another place. It's all to do with how you train them and how you build rapport and synergy in your company. And you can have a company that's brick and mortar, completely offline, where there could be very bad rapport, very bad synergy in your company. And that's not based on whether it's online or not. It's based on you as the CEO, how you lead it, and how you build connections with your team. So really our vision for our company is to have most of our operations completely online and to continue on that path as we expand. And so it just really goes back to, you know, do you really need an office? We believe you don't, and we have a team of just under 20 VAs at the moment doing most of the technical work for us in the business. So, you know, you also have to weigh up the opportunity cost versus practicality. You know, for some people, they don't really want to put in the time to, you know, build a virtual team because it's a completely different approach than having an in-house team. And that's simply because the way you document things, you're going to be doing everything at distance. So everything has to be really put together very well and concise. And so when a lot of people I found have started to build their teams, a lot of people have done very well in e-commerce and Amazon and really did it with very few numbers. But as things started to grow and scale, people have reached plateaus and have really started to have a lot of stress with time, doing a lot of the technical work themselves. And most people then have a choice of how they're going to start building their team. We took the concept of basically if you was going to build an army. You're not going to go out there yourself if you're looking to build an army and recruit, you know, foot soldiers independently. You're going to start at the top. You're going to get a general and you're going to get somebody to go out and build the army for you. You're not going to do it individually. So we took that approach with our company. We didn't start out building assistants. We started out from the top with an operations manager and HR. That was really the basis of our company. And so what we did is we really wanted to find people who had offline skills as well as online skills. So we actually hired, our first hire was somebody who was a HR manager in a brick and mortar business. So he had some great skills from the offline world and he also had the online skills, which helped us to really start to train and put together our company manuals and processes to really form a solid foundation.
Can I just ask a question at this point? Sorry, just about.
If you could leave it till the end, because I do have a lot to go through. Thanks. And also, we tried to find people with dual roles. So we had a HR person who had that skill set, but he also had skills as an operations manager as well. A bit like Steve with his, camera crew. He's a cameraman, but he could also be his bodyguard as well, as you can see looking at him. So again, just operations and HR as a foundation. That's what we just mentioned. So once we get the VAs, how do we keep them motivated and how do we keep them engaged? We try to provide as many benefits as possible, and we also look into the labor laws that they have in Philippines, which is the 13-month pay, which is something where you basically get a 3 months of pay at the end of the year. We stay goal focused, so we try to see what their goals are when we interview them, and if we can't help them with their goals, we won't bring them on. We only have full-time employees. We also provide 2 weeks paid leave per year. We're also emotionally sensitive to how we deal with people. And what I mean by that is there's different personality types and not everybody can be spoken to and treated the same way. So for example, your operations manager is going to have a completely different personality to your coder or something like that. So it's about understanding different ways to approach people and passing that forward even with your virtual team. So we have good communication systems in place, so we communicate through Slack, scheduled meetings. We have 3 scheduled meetings a day. The operations manager deals with those meetings. We have one in the morning to really set the pace and see what everybody has to do. We get them to re-explain back their tasks to us, so that way we are sure that they have a solid understanding before they move on with the rest of the day. And then we'll check in with them at midday, and then we'll also check in at the end of the day, just to make sure that everything is being done on time. And that's just the bird type personality test I mentioned before. And so now we're going to come on to the systems part. So with the systems, we really look at it as like a teacher principle. If you're going to be training somebody, essentially you are a teacher, and you have to understand that different people learn differently. So how you may learn might not be best for the rest of your team. And so we have a three-pronged approach to actually teaching and training people with our systems. So we have a software we use called IORAD, and what it does is it basically creates an interactive tutorial on the fly. So all you have to do is do any task online, and it will automatically put it into an SOP with screenshots and everything. So I'm just going to show you a demonstration of the way it looks interactively. We have two ways of actually using IORAD. We can view it as a list, or we can do it interactively. So let's have a look at the list. So if we see here, everything that we've just done is pretty much put into a list format within this document. And so it's very straightforward, very easy to use. You can pretty much just scroll down and see exactly what to do step by step. And you saw it literally took us just a few minutes to do. The other way to do it is to have it as an actual interactive tutorial. And in this way, they actually have to click on each specific part to move forward. So as you see here, I actually have to put in this information before I can move on to the next step.
See on the left, the instructions are there.
Yeah, and so this actually took just a few minutes to put together.
That's it for this tutorial on IORAD.
So I'm also going to give you a brief overview directly from IORAD themselves, which we'll just quickly show you now.
IORAD tutorials accommodate all different learning styles. Try Steps mode allows you to click along and practice. Just follow the directions and go step by step. View Steps allows you to see all the steps in a single page. Is English your second language? IORAD's built-in translation feature, powered by Google, makes your tutorial instantly available in 90 languages. Print? How about an auto-designed PDF? Pretty cool, right? On the go? Just swipe through the steps on your mobile device. And finally, our game-changing feature, IORAD Live. IORAD Live walks you through your live application in real time. Your very own instantly available application GPS. You no longer have to dig through help or find a power user for help. With IORAD Live, you are the power user.
Yeah, so just to provide a clear distinction of the differences with the interactive and the live. When you do the interactive version, the changes are not actually made, it's a simulation. But when you do it with live, it is all actually done in real time, so those changes are live. So what we have done now is we've set up a system where we document all of our systems, and we put it into a project management software called Process Street. So I'm just going to quickly demo that for you now, and then I'll explain how we do it.
We all know processes are important for running a business. We learned that in school, right? Well, what if there was a place to not only create and store your important process documents, but a way you could actually track when that task is being done? A way you could collaborate with your team anywhere, anytime. A place that would remind you and actually help you get the things you need to get done. Instead of asking you to do even more boring data entry on top of your already busy schedule. A place that works the way you work, with the apps you already use. Wouldn't that be nice? What if on top of all that, we took some of the tasks that you hate doing and just did them for you? Wouldn't that be nice? What if we then said you could try it out for free, forever with unlimited people? Wouldn't that be nice? Welcome to Process Street. See you on the inside.
Yeah, so what Process Street does, it basically creates almost like an internal WordPress site, but in a kind of a ClickFunnels format. So what we can do is we can create an SOP within Process Street with videos, documents, links, questionnaires, everything embedded. and then we basically just put our employees through Process Street for each system that we do. And we do it in 3 different ways. We have a video, which will explain things in a visual format. We have an IRAD, which will explain things as an interactive tutorial. And then we have the PDF version of IRAD, which is as a document. So that way, depending on the learning type of the person who you're training, they can have 3 different options which best suits their learning style. And that helps to make sure you have a more efficient way of training your team, because we do this for each and every process we create. So let me go back onto PowerPoint. So I just want to quickly brush over, because I do know I'm out of time, onto the tools we use. We use channel reply for our customer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with channel reply, we plug this into our Zendesk. So what this does, this pulls all of our order information from Amazon, so we can have everything in one place. We use IRAD for processes. We use G Suite for all of our emails and file storage. Again, we use Zendesk as well. Slack we use for communication, team meetings. FormStack is a way where we can actually set up tests within Process Street on everything we teach. And then we can actually set it up so that if somebody gets a question wrong, that will automatically trigger an email to a manager with the question they got wrong, saying, follow up with this person, they didn't have a solid understanding of X, Y, Z. And that helps to really automate the process of onboarding the team as well. We use Camtasia for some of our video recording. We also use Cloud App as well for quick sharing. Fortunately, we can't go into that in great detail today. We've just started using Zendesk Guide. I will quickly show you this. This basically has a machine learning setup into customer service, where as questions come up and queries from your team or customer service issues, it actually creates scripted answers that you can plug in with a bot to basically answer the questions. I'm just going to quickly...
Customer support operations run on a special substance called institutional knowledge. When agents take advantage of it, it's kind of like they know how to do things. We like to call that know-how. But here's the problem. You might not be getting all that you can from it. Agents may be wasting time repeating themselves, self-service articles might be out of date, and you lose some know-how every time an experienced agent leaves the company. That's why Zendesk created Guide, a knowledge base that lets you unlock the full potential of your know-how. Let's say you run an exotic fish company, and you use Guide. Your top agent is busy answering a common question in Zendesk support. In just a few clicks, she turns her answer into an article in Guide. Now she can publish it instantaneously to your help center, web widget, mobile app, basically anywhere your customers look for info. And even if you create an ocean of content, relevant know-how will bubble to the surface, straight into the hands of your entire organization, which is especially helpful for new agents. Guide also makes things easy with AnswerBot, which responds to customers with recommended articles and can actually solve tickets before agents ever see them. It's powered by Zendesk Artificial Intelligence, so the more you use it, the smarter it gets. When things are running this smoothly, your agents can focus on trickier problems. Zendesk Guide. Help customers faster, make your support operation more efficient, and get the most out of your know-how. Seriously though, does anyone know how to solve this ticket?
Yeah, so the long-term plan with Guide is really just to create an internal wiki, not just for customer service, but also for onboarding staff, because that really helps to make things a lot more efficient. Let me just see, I think we have pretty much it, and that's pretty much it. And just my final advice is just be as happy as Steve was here. Pretty happy guy there, so yeah. All right. Okay, so thank you everybody. Thank you.
Give it up for Tyrone, just so you're clear. All right, good job, Tyrone. Anybody have questions while he's up here? Go ahead, Chris.
In terms of the structure, then, so you build HR operations, so in terms of your 20 people, so how in terms of over the period of time did you build it, what functions did you put in?
Yeah, so pretty much what happened, because it came out of necessity when I was doing it, because the business grew so fast, I was in a state of overwhelm basically, where I was just answering emails all day, had no freedom whatsoever. So I had to really think fast, how am I going to do this in the quickest, most efficient time? And so what I did was I basically created like 100 job posts on onlinejobs.ph and got like 1,000 emails back. And then I was just like overwhelmed, didn't know what to do next. And the operations guy who ended up being our operations manager somehow tracked me down on Skype and messaged me and said, "Oh, we never heard back from you. I'm really interested in this job role. I'd like to, apply." And from then I said, you know what, this person is really dedicated. He's obviously hungry for the job. So based on that and also his skills in the offline world, I took him on board. And then I just basically got him to build all of our procedures for onboarding, our interviewing, because he'd done this already being a head of HR. And that to me was the biggest obstacle, was getting that in place for the people we were bringing on board. And so from then, everything else was just built from him, and we hired assistants to help him be more efficient. And yeah, that was pretty much the foundation, was the HR and the operations.
But then so your structure is of those 20 people by departments, or?
Yes, so what we did is basically we built out managers for different departments, and then we built out assistants to support them. So the way we did it, the reason why we did it like that is because we wanted to be efficient in our costing. So we wanted those people to do the high level stuff, and then the assistants to do all the admin stuff. Because obviously we were paying them about 6.5 per hour for the managers, and about $4 per hour for the assistants. So it made sense to leverage them the best way, to just build out assistants to support them. Yeah.
Any other follow-ons?
Yeah, that's a question at the beginning, but I think I answered it just then. But the other one, how long did that take you from feeling, that sense of overwhelming to get it up and running? Because that's a really slick operation that you described there. Does that take a year or 2 years? Or?
No, it was less than
Hilarious.
less than 6 months.
He's fast. He's really good.
Less than 6 months. I'd say to where we had the systems in place for HR, it was about, from when I hired him, maybe 2 months. And then from there, the rest of the stuff came, I'd say over a period of about 3 to 4 months. Yeah.
Okay, any last little questions? Okay, once again, let's give it up for Tyrone. Let's make sure that video doesn't see the light of day.